Hello everyone and welcome to Fire Force Season 3 Episode 1. Now it might be a little bit of a long intro on this video, just because I have to say many things before we start this, because I haven't done Fire Force on this channel before. The last two seasons came out like what, 4 years ago or something crazy. It was a long time ago. And so I wasn't doing the YouTube channel at the time, and so yeah, it's been a long time. So I do need to give several things. I need to tell you what we're doing today. I need to give you context on my relationship with the series, and I need to tell you about what I remember and stuff like that. So yeah, let's get into it. Fire Force. So I watched Fire Force many years ago. I watched it while season 1 was airing, or maybe right before season 2 started airing. I'm pretty sure I watched season 2 live, but season 1, I watched, like, I kind of binged it. So Fire Force is a series that I had, like, feelings on. I had like mixed feelings on overall, but like I can summarize it by showing you something. So 5 years ago, I made this post on a website called Kitsu. If you don't know what Kitsu is, it's a, like, not a crazy amount of people use it. It's a website that lets you track your anime and stuff. I used to post on Kitsu a lot. I used to post every time I watched an episode of anime. I used to post on Kitsu. Now these days, when I watch an episode of anime, I post a video about it. But before, I would like post text posts on them. So 5 years ago, when I finished Fire Force, I made this post that was entitled "Fire Force Loving a Show That Consistently Annoys Me." And in it, I described what I liked about Fire Force, and I put at that time it was in my favorite shows list. And so what I love about it, I love the powers, I love the animation, I love the protagonist, I love the companies and the idea behind the companies. The fights are incredible, the characters are great, the music is incredible, the voice acting is great. And I'm gonna be watching dub, which we talk about, but I have watched it in subbed, and voice acting in both versions is great. But then I talk about the Tamaki issue. Now this isn't going to be like a unique perspective. A lot of people have this perspective. I'm not exactly breaking new ground. Although, by the way, before we get to that, I just want to add to the good even more. I added a few more. There's also the religious themes is also like really interesting in this show, I thought. But anyway, this isn't a unique perspective at all. You've heard this 1,000 times when people talk about Fire Force. But basically, I think the show is so absolutely incredible and has one major flaw, and that's that the author really doesn't know how to write fan service. Like, it's really, really poorly done. Where it's like the fan service is actually detracting from the main plot. I don't mind fan service. I don't like. You know, it doesn't really tend to add a lot to me, but it doesn't tend to, you know, I tend to just laugh it off or whatever, depending on, you know, what the different scenario is. But I'm all about, like, in these certain contexts, in the right context, when it feels like, oh, this is a fun time to put in some fan service, then I like it. And then if there's times where I'm like, oh, that scene would have been so much cooler if there wasn't fan service, that's when I don't like it. And Fire Force was really, really terrible with finding the right places to put in fan service. But other than that, the series has some major strengths. I mean, I still to this day talk about its power system when I'm talking about other power systems. It is like when I'm talking about the idea of like creative limitations actually breeding more creativity, I use Fire Force as an example basically every time, because their creative limitation is all the powers have to be based around fire, and they do it in such an interesting way. And oh my god, the sound design of this show, I remember that being so incredible. like really, really incredible. And it had a great story. Now, here's jumping to the next point. I had to recap myself on what happens in seasons 1 and 2. The problem is, I don't have time to rewatch all of seasons 1 and 2 before we're jumping into season 3 today. I wish I did, but that's like 50 episodes almost of anime, and I'm, you know, like, with all the videos that I'm doing and all the One Piece that I'm watching and everything, like, I just don't have time right now. So, unfortunately, I haven't watched season 1 and 2 again, so I haven't seen it in, like, 5 years, but I did watch recaps and stuff on the seasons, trying to catch myself up. Because of that, I now remember, like, overarching plot stuff. I remember, you know, the basics behind a lot of the character motivations, but the problem is I'm going to struggle with names. I'm going to struggle with the, like, more intricate of the, not intricate, but the more specific of the characters and their motivations. And, like, I feel like when they're doing lore drops, I'm going to be less likely to be, you know, be like, oh my god, what? We didn't know that, or something, because it's been a long time. So yeah, I will do my best. Sometimes, especially when it's been many years, they're actually good at, like, sometimes anime is good at, like, recapping you naturally within the show. I don't know if this show is going to do that or not. I have no idea. I haven't heard anyone talk about season 3 so far. I've been trying to avoid it because the dub is a little behind, which brings me to what I think is my final point. We are going to be watching the dub today. Now, I know pretty much every time I post an episode 1 and it's in dub, I tend to get at least 1 or 2 comments that are complaining about it, and not only complaining about it, but rude about it. And so, like, those sorts of people, generally they go away by episodes 2 or 3. If you are genuinely upset by this, all you need to know is that I've watched both sub and dub within my life quite a lot. You can go through this channel, you can go on my One Piece channel, you can see I watch all of One Piece in sub. Like, there's a lot of shows that I watch in sub, a lot of shows that I watch in dub. I like to try in my life to, like, get a good mix of both of them, and there are certain shows that I look at and I go, that feels like a dub show to me. And Fire Force, I loved the dub of it. So also with this show, I'm already invested in the dub. Like, in my head, the voices are the English voices. So if I watch the Japanese voices, frankly, I'm not going to enjoy it as much. And as much as people like to say it, there's no objectively better choice. There just isn't. Like, you're objectively wrong. It's all subjective. And so I enjoy the dub. I'm going to be watching the dub. And it's also in the title. So anyone who clicks on it and complains about it after that, is, like, it's insane. I mean, you brag about being able to know how to read by watching sub, and then you can't read the title. So we're going to be jumping into the dub of season 3 episode 1 today. I said this would be a long intro, and I kind of delivered. We're 8 minutes into the intro. But yeah, so as a summary, I do really love this show. And when I was recapping myself, I remembered all of the amazing parts of the show. Yes, the fan service was pretty sucky and left, like, a huge lasting mark on this show. I'm hoping for some improvement there, but I'm not really holding my breath for it. I think I'm just gonna try to, like, not let it affect me and even enjoy parts of the fan service as they come up, possibly. I'm really hoping this season's gonna be great. And I recap myself, but I'm probably gonna forget things, and I'm watching the dub. That's the summary of everything that I was saying, TLDR. Anyway, let's jump into Fire Force. This is Season 3, Episode 1, and my Patreon account has the full-length reaction if you want to go over there and check it out. Here we go. Oh my gosh, they're doing comic book sound effects. Alright. Oh my god. Oh, that's really realistic gasping and stuff.
Come on, everybody's waiting.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
I mean, he seems like he cared, at least. Fire Force Chapter 3. Indomitable Resolve. Solar Era, year 198, Tokyo Empire. Man, it's been so long since I've seen these characters. Oh, the animation's already sounding good. The animation of this show used to be awesome, so I hope it stays at that. Yep. Unpowered Vulcan Joseph. Yep, okay. This will be hopefully a good recap. Yeah, here's his girlfriend, Lisa. Lieutenant Second. Takahisa.
Special force regarding our investigation outside.
Oh, it seems like they're gonna recap it a
The
bit.
joint discovered information relating to the Great Cataclysm located near the spatial tear.
This is
They
useful.
also found.
Oh yeah. Tamaki had like awakened some extra powers recently, right? She's even stronger now. Hey Maki. I remember Maki, I love her.
Former first member Rekka Hoshimiya was found to have triggered infernalization with
Yep.
an insect and a boy named Natsuku.
Natsuku, that's
He's in
right.
possession.
Oh my god. This is a cool way to introduce it, like giving us some cool combat animation. Iris! Iris is one of my favorites. And then Licht, yep. She's so cute. Voiced by Alexis Tipton, I believe.
To investigate a laboratory facility in the Nether. Uncovered a sinister plot by the White Clad to destroy the ground under the Tokyo Empire.
Mm-hmm.
Thank.
Oh! Oh my god! Of course.
Have grown remarkably stronger.
Oh! Arthur Boyle. Cool
That
intro.
concludes my report, sir.
Useful. And Obi.
Moving forward,
I forgot that
Asuka
Obi
and
was
Hajime
unpowered.
have both agreed to help.
I wonder what all the
Uh-oh.
commotion's about.
Is he gonna bust down the door?
Excuse
Oh.
us. I'm wrapping up my report to the fire chief. What business could you possibly have here?
Are they arresting Obi?
Akitaru Obi, you'll be coming with us.
What?
It's got to be a mistake. Talk to Hinawa and he'll sort it out.
Okay. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
White Clad.
Yeah, shit.
That's enough.
It was a draw. Maki said that's enough.
Devil! I'm not a devil. I'm a hero. That's enough.
You don't want to piss off Maki. Oh my god.
Sister, use Vulcan's device. They're asking for it.
Oh.
I understand.
What does it do?
Tom.
You're so stupid.
Oh my god. I thought it would zap them or something.
Going off.
Kusa.
Appreciated, Maki.
Seems the lucky Luchman is a thing, though.
Iris, so cute.
Yes, attacked you in the Nether, weren't you?
That assault guy, right?
Kinda. Truth is.
Yeah, that was also fan service.
Anyway, it looks like Shinra and Arthur also learned some new techniques in Asakusa.
They trained with him. Wow, this is a pretty good recap, honestly.
They did.
You want to know how I tapped into my hysterical strength? I thought of it like a game. Like when you max out your weapons and stats and the save game vanishes.
It makes
in a click.
sense.
Fine line between genius and stupidity.
Maybe.
I mean, if it works for him, it
Genius in his
works.
own way, when it comes to being stupid.
Oh, see, the sound design in this show is so good. That sound transition was so good.
For us to stand as one, united.
Grand Cathedral 1.
Why all of us together? What could they want?
I wonder what it is. I'm curious.
Have only served to paralyze our progress.
Okay.
To consign that fractious bickering to the pages of history.
How?
The Empire must be made whole.
But are you doing it by force?
This, with the right ally, we shall
Oh
be
god.
one again.
And the right ally is the White Clad? Oh lord.
Before you are the faithful apostles of Sol and bearers of the
Jesus.
Adola Burst.
Quickly, get
We
behind me!
realize this is exactly where we belong if you'd stop freaking out. Leonard Bur-
Beneath the surface!
We're simply returning to our rightful place, you see.
Oh my god.
This is
We are gathered in the Curia, the beating heart of the Holy Soul Temple. We have no-
File this place with your dirty filth and expect to have a chat?
Dream. This is the Curia. Try to curb your anger.
Oh god. This, I mean, like, you're not gonna be able to stop this from happening, I don't think.
I must.
Otherworld, Evangelist.
Oh, this is
God,
cool.
Holy Mother, Adola Link. I'll just read the old man's thoughts with my talking head.
Yeah, jeez.
Realized what?
That missing eye of yours stands to be the greatest proof there is.
Damn, she's just taking all this information.
Miss you? We are nothing alike!
Are you upset over Rekka Hoshimiya?
Yes. Yes, he is. He felt betrayed.
So you've had divine revelations? Sounds more like fanatical delusions!
Yeah, it
You
does.
really don't feel it? Therefore, it contains a spark of the will of the entire universe.
Yeah, I mean, it's very convenient how many divine messages from God allow you to do horrible things, huh?
As followers of the Holy Soul Temple, it is imperative we submit to the will of the great Sun God.
Oh god.
What could be?
You gave up your eye for just a glimpse of it, right? The ideal state of this world.
Oh my god.
And the future that is to come.
Desire, curiosity.
What is your...
To turn this watery world into a brilliant sun, just as our current sun came into existence.
Oh my god. I mean, no thanks.
This is complete insanity.
Burning up the whole entire planet
Just-
is your vision
oh
of the future?
god.
This is your chance to divine madness.
Oh my god. I can't imagine thinking turning the planet into a sun is ever a good idea. Oh wow. Wow. Conversion. You got him? Wow. Jesus.
Supposedly white-robed figures were there. Meaning, he's ostensibly been captured by the White Clad.
Yep. And the White Clad has a lot more power now.
Why
I'd bet their goal is capturing Shinra to harness his Adola Burst. Draw! I sacrifice Shinra to summon Captain Obi.
Oh my god, a Yu-Gi-Oh
Never
reference?
said this, but he may be onto something.
Not a chance! Company 8
I love
would
it.
never dream of that. Promise came straight from Captain Obi himself.
I will heed his words and discard Shinra from my...
Yeah.
But I'm going to rescue the captain. Which means I will be in direct opposition to the Imperial Army.
In other words, Lieutenant Hinawa,
In other words, this stance makes me a traitor.
Yeah, I mean, we
So I
have to
won't
be,
give
because
order.
they're
I'll
being
be acting
traitors.
unofficially. Once I'm branded a rebel, I'll lose my rank as lieutenant.
I'm going with you.
Yeah, of
There is
course.
no other choice.
It's a knight's duty to... a knight should always, a knight should,
he interrupted and hadn't thought of it.
No matter what, you're not doing anything without us. You hear me?
You still have a home to go
Marky, you're the only one whose
Soldier of
opinion I
fate.
care about.
This is my home now.
You will all be going, won't you? Well, then I'll be going too!
Yeah, you don't want to give up your family, this family you
It's not
have.
just because of peer pressure or anything like that. I'm doing this out of my own conviction that I need to do what you're all doing. So let's
She's going all in on following.
Just say the word and we'll be ready!
I love that art style.
The first and second are not gonna like this. They're both pretty darn loyal to the Empire, you know.
Yeah.
So,
That's because Company 8 is a family. So tell me, Leaked, what'll you do?
Is leaked Ian Sinclair, by the way? It's
been
been...
hot on the heels of a mystery.
I'm pretty sure he
Spontaneous
is.
Human combustion. You know who's gonna be most upset about this, don't you? Like real angry?
All right. I already watched this OP on my channel. You can go watch the reaction video to the OP and ED. Whose footsteps are these? Ah, Burns.
We've arrested Akitaru Obi.
Shit, man.
That's so.
Spent his life serving the great sun god's soul. Let us grant him the joy of returning to the divine flame.
God. I hate that they got Burns on their side. That's so sad.
Then Akitaru Obi shall receive an insect.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh, you're doing the ED now? We just had the OP and now we're going into the ED. Okay, pretty good first episode, I gotta say. I liked it. It's really good because sometimes, you know, I'll be watching the first episode of a season and it will be clear that most of the episode is gonna be about recapping, and I'll be watching it and I'll be like, oh man, like that's sad because I wanted to like make progress in this story. And especially when you're like binging a show, like this episode when you're binging it might feel slow because it's like, oh well, they spend the first half of the episode just explaining what happened, but it really does make it so clear why it's needed in a show like this after it's been 5 years since the previous season. Like I truly sit down and I go like, wow, the show, like I watched a recap on each season before I watched this video, before I watched this episode, and they were so densely packed with information because this show has had so many like reveals and like, you know, ways that the story has progressed, that there was so much information in it. And so even then I was watching this recap and I was still like, okay, this recap is only clicking for me because I watched the other recap. Like I needed that recap to make this recap work better in my head. So but yeah, I'm glad that they did like a full recap. They showed off all of the characters and their names and powers and all of that. Because I mean, there's some shows that I watch that I see them start to do a recap and I'm like, I don't need this because I specifically engage with the media so much. Like My Hero Academia, for example. Whenever My Hero Academia starts a new season and they they give a recap of all the students and stuff, I'm always watching it and I'm like, this is useless. Like, it's useless for me because I don't need any of this. But obviously, it's different for me with My Hero Academia. I've rewatched that show fucking 15 times and I like probably watch My Hero stuff once every couple weeks at least, you know? Like I'm always engaging with My Hero content, so it doesn't leave my head quickly. Fire Force, I truly haven't watched much Fire Force content in the last 5 years at all. So I'm really grateful that they did this. But something that's good is like getting back into these episodes, it really sort of reminds you how good some of this stuff is, you know? Like, I mean, I mentioned the sound design in this episode, and there was some really good sound design, but there's just like I feel like they've got some great creativity to them. Like, okay, so the girl, Haomiya, right? Who, she can sort of like read people's minds a little bit and like figure out what she needs to say. That scene where we're seeing her manipulate Burns in real time and it's constantly popping up with like the different things that are related to the conversation and why she's using them, where she's getting the information from. Like that stuff is popping up is like a really creative way to show off that scene, I think. And it also, like, just having stuff like that happening throughout the scene also builds a sense of momentum in the scene as well. Like, something is happening consistently throughout the scene, and it's like something unique that as the conversation goes on, this thing is continuously going and going and going. And I think, like, that sense of momentum works really well for when the end of the scene happens and it comes up with the conversion and he's bowed down to them and has, like, submitted to what they were saying. And so like it's a really good way to do it because it shows that she's having this conversation, but it also like illustrates while they're having the conversation, it is showing us why is this conversation working on this one dude. Like that's all she just needs to convince him, and so she uses all these tricks that she's picked up to be able to actually turn him. And it's only because she has like that proper, like that information, that manipulation. You know, she's basically doing the equivalent of like playing a dating sim game and looking up like a list of like, what does my character love the most? And then it's like, oh, this character loves seashells, and so you just get a truckload of seashells and you give it to her, and she's like, oh, how did you know I loved seashells? And it's like, they don't know that you were using a guide the entire time, and so you've been tricking this dating sim girl into falling in love with you by cheating, by looking up a guide. That's basically what she's doing in that real time. She's looking up a guide right now while looking at him, and is choosing all the best dialogue options that gets her the ending she needs. So I think that's an interesting scene. I really enjoy that. It's good that like, in the 5 years that I haven't been watching this show, I've become more proficient in voice actor recognition and stuff, where I've now seen like a lot more shows since then, and also I recognize voice actors a little bit better. And so while I was watching this episode, I was hearing the voices, and in my head I was like, yes, this is their voice, and this is the voice that I remember. But hearing it again, I'm realizing, oh, and also it's this voice act. Like it's this one that I know. And so like I like watching it, and finally like a lot of it clicking as like, oh my god, I've like in my head I knew, like I think Licht is the best example of that, right? In my head, I knew he sounded like that. Like if I was picturing his voice, that's what he sounded like. And in the 5 years since I watched this, I've gotten to know Ian Sinclair's voice really, really, really well. Where I feel like I pretty much always recognize him. And then in this episode, those things combined together, where I'm like, I knew he sounded like that, but it took me having to hear him again to put together, oh my god, that's Ian Sinclair. I'm pretty sure, I haven't looked it up yet, but I'm pretty sure it is Ian Sinclair. And I just think that's like a really fun thing to have it all come together in my head like that. Okay, hang on, I need to look this up before I am wrong about this. Victor Licht. Thank goodness. I looked up Victor for a second and it didn't pop up immediately, and I went, oh no, was I wrong? But it's because I spelled Victor wrong. I spelled it with a C. But yeah, he's Victor Licht. Nice. So yeah, and like in this time since I've watched this like season 2, I've watched like Dr. Stone, I've watched Kaguya-sama Love is War, I've watched One Piece, and it's like, you know, in Dr. Stone he's Tsukasa, in Kaguya-sama Love is War he's a narrator, in One Piece he's Brook. Like I've watched these series and I've gotten to know that voice more often. So yeah, I just think this is like, that's really it's really good for it all to click for me while watching this. Yeah. So Obi is going to get an insect. That's scary, because oh man, I'm worried because I don't know what they're gonna do. Like, are they gonna kill him? He's a good character, he's fun, like he's nice to have around. So I don't want them to kill him. But they might. They very well might. It's so sad, like seeing the situation happen, seeing the church be, you know, completely team up with the White Clad, and it feels like you're just powerless to stop it at that point. Like as soon as Raffles, right? As soon as he is on their side, like I don't think you're gonna be able to turn them away from the White Clad again. Like Raffles has probably made up his mind, and so as soon as that happened, I went, oh, there's nothing we can do. We're screwed. We just need to fight the White Clad and become traitors. And it's sad and frustrating, but oh well. But yeah, I like watching this episode. Really made it. Also reminded me just like how good some of these characters are, and like how unique they are. You know, I think that is something that's very special. Is that the characters in this series have some really good unique stuff about them, and And so like seeing like Haumea is a really cool villain, you know. I like how and also I mean I want to see who voices Haumea, because I like her voice and I feel like I know her voice. She's a very good actress, whoever she is. But I'm sure I'm going to look it up right now, and it's gonna be like, oh yeah, of course it's her, you know. Haumea is Caitlin Glass, of course it's her. Yes, I do know and love Caitlin Glass. Caitlin Glass is Winry in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood and stuff. So yeah, and Mina, of course, Mina from My Hero Academia. So yes, I already love her. I already love that voice actress so much. But listening to this and like watching her performance as this character, I mean, it's like she's simultaneously like a little crazy, but very, very reasonable in a weird way, you know? Like you can kind of see how she would convince people and stuff. And that's kind of scary. Like how much charisma she kind of has is terrifying, because that's how she's getting some of the power that she's getting, you know, and that she can stay calm in these scenarios is really helped just from the fact that she's just kind of a charismatic person. But then obviously we also see in this episode it's also because she can like manipulate minds and stuff. So yeah, I just watching this episode, like the idea of like, okay, so we're trying to create a new sun by like, we turn this earth into a sun. And it's like, I'm just watching that and I'm going like, I can't imagine being deep enough to think that like, no, to like be on board with a let's turn the earth into a sun plan. I can't imagine it. Like I'm you know, I consider myself mildly religious, right? Where it's like I think I'm religious. I find some comfort in a greater power, and I've been known to pray, but I don't tend to go for a lot of the tradition aspects of it, and I really like, it's all about like what makes sense to me. If something doesn't make sense to me, if something doesn't give me comfort, something doesn't like help me, then I can't bring myself to believe in that, and so I don't like just let myself blindly follow that, you know. And like, so I think watching a thing where it's like, if religion to me is something that can really give people comfort and really help people find understanding and meaning in their own lives and in the universe, if that's the case, then watching like a group be like, oh yeah, we all need to die so that we can turn this planet into a new sun, like to me that makes no sense, because it's like, but that's not finding meaning in me. Like I know they're seeing themselves as like sacrificial pawns or whatever, but I can't picture it. Like I just can't picture that being a meaning for my life. For my life to mean not being alive, like I can't fathom it. So like watching things like this, and I bring this up specifically, I mean, we've seen a lot of shows that have like, oh, a religious group is the villain and they do this, whatever, right? But I talked about the religious themes very briefly at the start of this video, because I do think something cool about the religious themes in this series, and something that I appreciate, is both good guys and bad guys in this series have religious beliefs, and a lot of them are like the same or similar religious beliefs to one another. Like it is showing that religion is like, you know, the Simpsons quote where Homer goes like, alcohol, the cause of and solution to all of life's problems. That's what I think this show also says about religion, you know? It's going like, here is all of, like, you know, if you see, especially through, like, Iris as a character, you will see a lot of the comforts religion can bring, and, like, you know, she uses it in a way to, like, honor the dead. She uses it in a way to, like, do things in the right way to find comfort. Like, Iris is a good representation of, like, what can be great about religion. And then you have the villain group, which is like a representation of what can be horrible about religion and the extremism and the damage it can cause. And I think the show being able to show both of that stuff, but just have it weaved into a narrative, so then it's not actually making major statements on, you know, on if religion is good or bad. And I mean, you could watch it and you could go, well, it's skewing towards bad. Like the show is showing it's more bad than good, maybe. But I just appreciate like that a character like Iris is in the show, because it like allows me to go like, okay, the moral of this series is not just religion equals bad, but rather warnings about religion, which I think is way more important to do. It's about, you have to actually think, you know, you can't just be, it can't just be blind faith, because I mean, you have Burns in here, he's kind of now going off of blind faith, right? And he's an incredibly powerful man, and he's, you know, awesome. And he seems kind of intelligent for the most part, but like once he's indoctrinated, now he's just going off of blind faith, and he's just asking Halmia like, are you sure this is what the God wants us to do? And she's like, yep. And he goes, okay, I guess we're doing that. And that's blind faith, you know, that's not thinking things through. That's not thinking that you might be being manipulated. So yeah, it's really good. I like that stuff. I think this show is good at that stuff. So yeah, anyway, that is Fire Force Season 3, Episode 1. Thank you for joining me. If you want more Fire Force on this channel, please support the video so that I know to continue doing it on this channel. Like the video, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, and you can go to my Patreon account if you want the full-length reactions, early access, exclusive videos, lots of other great stuff for both this channel and my Gent Watches One Piece channel. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.